my name is Katie Herring, and with me today I have some friends and family to introduce to you. Right here is my brother James.
Hi.
My sister Elizabeth. Hey. And my boyfriend Evan.
Hi.
And my specific purpose of this informative speech is to inform my audience, you all, about what code status, formation, and resuscitation efforts are. I want you to imagine on a daily basis of what I go through. Walking into a unit and walking down the hall, and you see nurses, doctors, and other healthcare personnel surrounding. And you walk into a patient's room and there's your loved one lying in the bed on a ventilator. And all you can do is think, wonder what they would like done. If your family member could get up out of the bed and come up and talk to you and tell you and look at what's happening to them, what do you think they would want done in that situation? I'm here to tell you and inform you about what a code status is, what advanced directives are, and the pros and cons of performing different types of code status resuscitation efforts. In order for me to explain all three of these things, I would like to tell you what a living will is and a power of attorney. The Mayo Clinic staff describes what a living will is perfectly from the Mayo Clinic Foundation of Education and Medical Research. They describe it as instructions from a person telling you exactly what measures or interventions they would like done. A power of attorney is a person who you appoint to speak for you in times when you cannot speak for yourself, or if you're in a coma, or in events such as that. After telling you what a living will, an advance directive, and a power of attorney is, I'd like to tell you more how this relates to a code status, in which it leads to. Code status. What is a code status? Dr. Siskinsky from the Huffington Post, he's a physician, he writes for the Huffington Post, he explains exactly what a code status is. A code status is the interventions that you do when your heart or your lungs, when your heart stops beating or your lungs stop breathing. And what do you do in that event? He describes 3 different codes that I'd like to tell you briefly about. A full code is all interventions that are performed. Everything from CPR to dialysis to placing a tube feeding tube to starting you on medications to keep your blood pressure up. A DNI is a do not intubate, which means do not place someone on a ventilator. A DNR is a do not resuscitate, meaning do not do chest compressions, do not perform CPR. I already explained to you the invasive measures that can be performed, such as dialysis and tube feedings and medications and stuff like that. But I would like to also explain to you what the risks can occur with these interventions, such as during CPR, it can break your ribs, and which can lead to poor perfusion of your lungs. Your lungs can't expand, in which you would have to be put on a ventilator. Some other risks that I would like to tell you is a medication that keeps your blood pressure up. It's called vasopressors. If you're on that medication too long, your fingers can start to turn black and fall off. I already showed you that this is a ventilator, and another invasive measure is dialysis, in which your kidneys start to fail and you have to use a machine to help pull off extra fluids. Another invasive measure to help keep your nutrition up is to place a tube to help give you tube feedings, or place a tracheotomy in a hole in your neck to help you stay on the ventilator to prolong your life. These are some of the invasive measures that can prolong your life, but you wonder, is it worth it? Dr. Siegel puts it all into perspective when she describes, she's a psychologist, also a palliative consult, and she helped form this website called Help Guide. She puts it in perspective by taking away the curative measures and focusing on the patient on a comfort status and realizing what would this patient really want. What measures would you want? To conclude, I would like to tell you, what would you want? Have you learned about advanced directives? Have you learned what a living will is, what a code status means? Have you learned, what do I want done? What would I want done? What would you want your family members to do for you? Eleanor Clift, I'm going to leave you with a quote from Eleanor Clift. She's at MSNBC's journalist. She said this: "If you think of life and death on a continuum, finding the point where it tips is complicated. It cuts all lines and gets to the root of humanity. It requires faith informed by many years of intimacy that you're doing what's right for your loved one." Thank you for all your time and patience. Hope you have a good night.